You get their box inside. So that's
All right. So make me want to get a couple passion drink
when they're
too,
going with their
yeah?
presentation.
All right. And last but not least, we got Keith Grubb from Planet and Justice in Oakland. We got Salvador, Julio, Ruben, and Julian Fisher.
So just before we start with our presentation, I'd like to say that it's a great honor to share the stage with all these youth people, and hopefully they all get funded and actually move on with their projects. We hope you enjoy our presentation. Our team name is Zeke Grove, which stands for Enhancing Access to Gardens and Revolutionizing Urban Backyards. Okay, this is our table of contents, but you guys probably seen like 9 times already. Basically, it's the same thing as everybody else's, so... Okay, my name is Salvador Mateo. I'm 18 years old, and I would like to share a brief story with you guys of why I started doing what I'm doing right now. When I was 4 years old, my father was deported because my little sister didn't have a seatbelt on. She was still like 3 months old, and she wasn't in the baby seat. So my mom had to take on the duty of working 2 jobs and raising 3 kids on her own and paying a house, which we unfortunately lost after that year. Due to that, my mom had to work 2 jobs and couldn't afford to be with us, until Sunday. And on Sunday, all she wanted to do was sleep. She was tired. So she gave us money to go eat food, and unfortunately what we had to buy was McDonald's and all these other fast food things that weren't healthy. Right now, my mother was deported last year on October, and my sister was taken away from me a couple months ago by CPS. And, I'm just trying to put this out there, and I'm trying to prevent other families from going what I went through. So just to piggyback off what he said, it's a troubling factor that many people in our community, especially the low-income communities, don't actually have access to organic food. We have access to fresh produce. Fresh produce is what I grew up with. Fresh produce is not actually organic. There's a lot of pollutants, and this food is slowly killing us. We're not aware of this, so as I started growing up, I started learning all about the environmental racism, all about food deserts, all about how the food that we're consuming in our low-income communities is slowly destroying us. This factor has to stop. It's trifling and depressing to know that we're going to die because of the food we eat. Food is supposed to nutrient us and not destroy us. And with that, we'd like to share our other 2 members. Right now, they're in the process of becoming Eat Grub members. One of them is back there. Ruben, could you please raise your hand? The other one, unfortunately, could not make it. He didn't have a ride, and it's kind of hard to get here. But Julian Fisher, age 18, really good person to work with. We have the fortune to actually work with Planet and Justice. Our mentors that are back there, Haley and both Gavin, they helped us create a garden in our school, which is astounding. And they also enhanced the amount of people in our school that are eating organic food. I'll get into that later. But these are 2 of the greatest mentors I ever had. They're one of my biggest role models into creating. We shadow them only because they have the same vision as we have. And we decided to create our Eat Grub kind of branch off from what they're actually doing. They're kind of doing the same thing, and our mission is similar, but not the same, because we're youth. And with that, other mentor, Vanessa Stanley Miller, who is right there with her husband. We'd like to, point out that she's a really great and she is helping us develop our business. And when we decided to become a nonprofit, and she's doing all she can to help us do that. And we're glad to have her in our team. As you can see, our venture will benefit a community by bringing gardens to low-income families and communities. But by doing that, we're going to have to build, what our mission is, we want to build gardens to high-income communities or families or centers of education that can afford to pay these full, cost gardens, which will cost approximately from $4,000 to $6,000. And by doing that, we're going to subsidize the cost to a low-income family, meaning we're going to give it to them free. For every 2 to 3 gardens that we sell, we're going to try and do that. And as soon as we get the money to build a heart garden for the low-income family, we're going to go straight to do that. Yeah. But here's the problem that we are facing. 46% of people surveyed from the surveys that we created have to walk or take public transportation more than 3 miles just to get fresh produce. Not organic produce, fresh produce. 70% of the people surveyed suffer from type 2 diabetes, heart disease, obesity, which are diet-related diseases due to their, they're not eating healthy. The root cause of this is lack of access to healthy foods in our community.
I actually fall into the 46% of people who actually have to travel. Me, my mom, and my brother always had to walk to get our fresh produce, are not organic. We always, even if it was raining, my mom would go to the supermarket and get this fresh produce because she thought that her health was better, but she didn't know that this fresh produce had a lot of pollutants in them. Our solution: the Eat Grub team will build gardens for low-income families in the Oakland community and teach them how to maintain the gardens so they will become self-sufficient and healthier.
Here is our amazing business model. Like I stated before, on every 2 to 3 full-paying clients that we get, we'll build the garden for family for free. Gardens, what we were trying to do is create a recipe book for families. Like some people said that they don't know what kale is, they don't know what sweet mammoth peas are. We're gonna create a recipe book that every time someone purchases a garden, we're gonna give a recipe book with that garden. And if there is no access, like what we're trying to do is that they have access to internet, that recipe book will not be given because we're gonna have to give it to someone else that doesn't have access to any internet or network, so like any network computer or phone, smartphone that can look at these recipes online. And through that as well, we're gonna create YouTube videos in which we cook food and show them how to do it through online. But if they don't have that, recipe books will be provided. Also, we will have garden parties, like some of the people stated before. And for this, we're going to try to promote our gardens. For example, the first garden that we build, we're going to build it in a center, a community center, in which we'll be able to host a party and, show people what they could have in their own backyard, if they decide to hire us.
So predominantly, this garden party, there's going to be a lot of music, and then we're going to have outreach for our communities and promote our business as well. Not only enhancing the people access to organic food, but also trying to tell them that we're going to be out there creating garden beds in their backyards.
Here is a picture of us working at our school garden. That's when we built it, and right now we're putting all the compost inside. That's me and Marisol, which is right back there. We were working on creating some adjustments to the garden. And I have my beautiful, sexy hair.
So this is our garden after a month, and it's just impressive how to see all this green in our school. Now this next slide is the best slide. This is my face after tasting a sweet pea organic in my school. Many times they say, photos speak many words. This is a speechless moment. Simply the fact that I was not eating fresh food, I was eating organic food. This is truly a memorable moment, and I hope that this memorable moment cannot be only for me, but for other low-income families who will be creating garden beds in their backyards. Our vision is to create environmental equity by having the world free from food deserts. We define food deserts as areas that have been deprived access to healthy and organic food. We want to create a world where the word food and desert are not paired together. We live in an area where a liquor store is in the corner of our houses, where we get canned vegetables such as salads could relate to. This is kind of the tracking factor because food should not be combined with desert. We live in an area where we have to travel at least 15 miles to access a Trader Joe's or a farmer's market that's selling organic food.
Here is the market size that we were able to provide. 62,000 people live in just the area code 94601 in Oakland, East Oakland. 92% of the people that we surveyed, the survey that we created, said they wanted their own fresh organic garden in their backyard. And weekly, normal family spends $50 to $100 in the grocery store. So what we tried to do was multiply everything together, which was 62,000 people, multiplied by $75 a day. Here is the income that we expect to get. And Youth Venture Seed Grant, here we got it, $1,000. Full paying clients for 5 raised beds, $3,000, that's for our first project. And from the Start Some Good website, we hope to at least get $500. From foundations, we hope to get $1,000, such as the Rose Foundation, CEH, and all these places that we have interned with. And from friends and family, at least $500, with a total of $6,000. Here are the expenses. From Redwood, boards for 5 raised beds, it's actually $180. For the compost, which is 6.5 cubic yards, it's $260. Bamboo, straw, shovels, screws, all these things that we need to create raised garden beds, $660. And for the plants, $180, 14 labor hours for $12 an hour for 4 people, $672, which adds up to $1,952. We multiply times 2 for the low-income family that we'll be providing this free garden for. It's going to add up to $3,904, giving us a profit total of $2,196.
This is our timeline. Our first milestone, launch venture, receiving training in garden science plants, client relations from Plants and Justice. As I said before, we're shadowing Plants and Justice where we have the fortune to have them as a mentor. So right now we're actually trying to complete our training so we could actually not only create garden beds but also enhance the amount of knowledge that our people who are getting garden beds have. Our second milestone, to sell and build the garden at full price to a YMCA, church, or other local community centers. I said before, we're trying to target big areas that actually have a lot of access to community. And hopefully, by the time we build this garden, this YMCA, church, or community center, we could host our first garden party there where we could have an outreach to all the low-income families. Third milestone, to use the money from our first paying client to build the garden for our low-income families at a subsidized cost. Many times we've heard the phrase Robin Hood. We are those modern Robin Hood. We're trying to create a low-income family cost bed for those people.
Take from the rich, give to the poor.
Milestone 4, to have a garden party for the community in which they can see all the benefits from having their own gardens, like saving the money and eating healthy and organic foods, so we can have more memorable moments. Milestone 5, to find 2 or more paying clients who will help subsidize the cost of one more low-income garden. So eventually you can see that this is going to end up creating more gardens for low-income families, transitioning to measurable change. In 6 months, we will complete our training, earn $3,000 for full paying clients, build 1 garden at a subsidized cost for a low-income family. In 1 year, we hope to host a garden party, build gardens for 3 full paying clients, build gardens for 2 low-income families at a subsidized cost. And over 2 years, we hope to earn $10,000 to $15,000 from full paying clients, build 6 more garden beds for full paying clients and 3 for low income. So this is a cause and effect where we are trying to create, not only enhance the amount of garden beds in high income communities, but also trying to do the same thing for our low income communities.
Thank you.